Right. And cool. So hello everyone. Good evening for those of you who are based in Japan. My name is Sasha. I'm in charge of events and partnerships at LaLoka in Tokyo. I'm super happy to welcome you all to our today's workshop, how to build a survey form with Django. And today's workshop is delivered by Kamal Mustafa, the CTO of LaLoka Labs. So as a lot of you probably read the event description, you have a quite intense agenda. You have a lot of things to accomplish today. So we have 1 hour, 30 minutes. And by the end of the workshop, you're supposed to build the survey form using Django as the name of the workshop states. Cool. So I'm super happy to welcome Kamal Mustafa. Super happy to have you as our speaker today. So without ado, I will give a microphone to our amazing speaker and let's this workshop begin. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sasha. And thank you also for giving us these slots to get involved with LaLoka members. So, okay, so my name is Kamal. You can just call me Kamal from LaLoka Labs. So yeah, so and today we are going to build a simple Django website. So maybe before we start, I want to know a bit, maybe if anyone's here already know Django, or maybe you don't have any experience, or this is your first time in trying Django, maybe you can give some, I don't know, reactions if you already know Django, or maybe put it in the chat, or just say, okay, I know Django, or this is my first time. We have 22 participants. Yeah, that's great. Okay, we have, yeah, first time. Okay. Okay. But I guess you probably have experience from other platforms already, right? Maybe from PHP, or maybe Ruby on Rails, maybe, right?
So I would like to maybe add on that we have I see some data science students here in the chat, so they have experience using Python, but more for data science, and for web development students, the Ruby on Rails.
Okay, great. So there'll be not much difference in terms of the concept, and then Rails and Django also actually born around the same time, so there's not much difference. Okay, I guess we can start. So what we are going to build today, we already break it up into 7 steps, and all these steps we prepare it in a way that you can just copy and paste, so you don't have to type one by one the code, because that will take much time. So for every step, we'll just copy the code and paste it into the editor. When we go to the next step, you can just delete everything and then you paste the new code again in the editor. So you don't have to actually try to write by one. And then once we've done that, then we can revisit any part of the code that you think that need more explanation. So that's how we will go through the workshop today. Okay, so before we get into building the app, I think it's good to see first what's going to be the end result of what we are going to build today. So I think having seen the end result is give better orientation before we start building. Okay.
Just one thing, are you sharing your screen right now?
Oh, sorry. I thought. Okay.
I just had a wild guess. No worries.
Okay, I'm very sorry. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yeah, and see your Gmail as well. Better close it.
Sorry, I picked the wrong screen.
Yep, right now I can see.
Sorry. I try again. Suppose they.
Yeah, you can choose which screen you would like to share. You can share the full screens, or you
Oh,
can share like.
so this is different than Google Meet. They are sharing desktop, not
Yep.
Windows. Okay. Let me click portion of screen. Maybe this one. No, you can't actually
So just GitHub repo.
share Windows. Okay, so I just need to. Okay, this surprised me a bit. Okay.
While you're still doing this, I will share one more time the link to the GitHub repo, just in case some people might miss. We have a GitHub repo here available.
Okay, you can see the screen, right?
Yep, I can see the GitHub repo right now.
Okay. So which means that since I can't actually switch alternate between Windows, and sometimes I have to stop screen sharing for a while when I need to switch to other Windows. Oh, so that's hopefully that's fine, right?
No worries.
Okay. Okay. So this is the content that we prepared, as mentioned just now. So we have 7 steps here, and okay. I will show the end result. So this is the end result of what we are going to build. So it's just a simple form. You enter your email address, and then you pick some of the question that you prepared for the survey form. Then you submit it, and okay, this is to. It's not running. Yeah. Okay. So we'll need to run this. Okay, this is basically how you use Replit. So you have this code, and then when you want to test your what you have written so far, code so far, then you click this. It will run the development server. Okay, take one. Okay, and then you can actually access to. So Replit actually also provide this actually built-in browser. Unfortunately, we can't make fully use of this because we can't actually edit this URL here. So it's fixed here. We can't change this, which means that we have to click this to open it on a new tab. So click it here, then we will open in actual browser window. Right. So we have this. Okay. And then after we submit this, then it should redirect us to the this OTP get OTP UI, where we bring us to verify our email address, right? And this is where I have to stop the screen sharing. Oh wait, I think I can check it from my phone. Yep. Okay, give me a minute. and I got the OTP 325084. Click this, then I'll be redirected back to the our form. Okay, you can see here this submission save. I think I'll increase this a bit. Okay. Okay, so this is basically what we're going to build, and because we want to see whether the email has been verified or not, we can check through this Django admin interface. And here you can see this is one submissions, and then the status is verified. So basically, this is what we want to build today, right? Okay. And okay, so the first thing we want to start is by going to this Replit that we have prepared for this workshop. So the URL is in the chat. Okay, I think you can check through the chat for the URL, and we need to once if you have account on Replit, then you can click this fork button. Then it will fork to your Replit account. So I need to switch to the other account so I can actually show how the fork's working. So this is my other Replit account, right? And then go to the Replit project that we have built for this workshop. You can see here, and so it's a little bit different. So we can click here. Okay, and now it's being forked into my account. So once it's being forked into my own account, then I can start editing this all the code, all the project code here. Okay, so a brief introduction on Replit in case you haven't used it before. So we use this for this workshop because this is the easiest to get up and running. So otherwise we will spend quite some time on setting up the environment. Okay. 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 On this left pane, we'll see the list of files that we have in our project. So this project website, we have prepared the basic structure for this Django project. It will be a little bit different than the structure that you will see on Django official documentation. The reason we are using this structure is we think that this is much easier to understand. If you use the official structure from Django project, you will see there is the concept of project and app, and which you need to understand what is project and what is app. So we decided not to use that one, and here there is no need to understand what is project, what is app. So everything is just in a single project. Okay, so and this is the basic files for this initial Django project, and we can actually click this run to see whether it's working or not. Right. It might take a while if you are running this for the first time, because it will also install all the project dependencies. Like as you can see here, it's installing Django and then other modules that depended by this project. Okay, so we can see here it's a project is running, and then in the browser you can see the basic homepage. So which means that this is this project is we already have everything properly set up to continue building the app for this project, right? And this is here. This is the, you can see on the right, the bottom right. This is where this is the Django development server is running. It's being controlled by this file called .replit, and here we specify what's actually the command to run the development server. You can stop this. So Replit has these features where if you have this run server running, whenever you change any of the code, if you can see here, right, can change here, you can see that it's automatically restart the development server. So sometimes this will be annoying if you are writing some codes and then you are not actually ready yet to test that. So if that happens, usually what I do is I stop first the development server, and then let me finish writing the code, and then I run the development server again. Yeah, so it's up to you. If you think that it's not annoying or it's not bothering you, then you can just keep writing and then let Replit to auto restart the development server. Yeah. Okay. So let's go through our first step, which is step 1, the in the workshop notes. So every time we want to work on a new Django project, so the first thing we will do is we define the data model for our project. So in Django, it is called the models. The models is where we store the data for our project, for our app. We can just actually click copy here to copy all this code, and then this is we need to write this in the file called models.py here. So you can just paste the whole code. Okay, so this is one problem with Replit, because it doesn't have the paste command here actually. So what I'll do here is just to control plus V on using your keyboard to actually paste the code. Yeah. Okay, then this is the basic model. So it's just a very simple model. We have one class called survey, and then there's a question. So one survey will have one or many questions. So which is why in Django, the way to define that kind of relationship is using what we call it this field type called foreign key. So from here you can see here the survey here is actually a foreign key to the survey class here. Then next is just a simple text field, and then a date time field. And then we have another model called choice. So choice, so every question can have one or more choices, so which is why we also use the foreign key relationship here to define the relation between choice and questions. And finally, we have the model called submission. So this is where we are going to store what the user submitted through our form. Okay, so here we're still using the foreign key to survey, so which means that one survey we can have one or more submissions. And the only difference here, if you notice here, is that we are using the many-to-many field to choice. So which means that a submission can have many choice, one or many choice, and a particular choice can be in many submissions. So that's the basic model that we have for our applications. Okay, so okay, we back to our nodes, and then once we define this model, we will need to generate the what we call in Django the migration files. The migration file will have generated Python code that will actually build this model definition as a table in the database. Right? So we can copy this, and then we back to our Replit. You can see here in the console pane, there's also another tab here called shell. This is actually where we can actually run any commands within this our project environment. Okay, so we can paste the code we copied just now here, and then this is it generate the migration file, and you can see that it's being generated here under migration folder, and this is the file. So it's quite lengthy actually, and we are not going to look into this for now, right? Okay, so and back to our nodes. So after this, we need also the step one run P is to actually run the migration. So when we run this migration, then it will create the database table for our models. So again, in this shell pane, we paste the code to run the migrations. You can see that this is the migration for our app that we generated just now. And other than this, you can also see that it also generate the migration for other apps that actually enable for this project. So you can see here this content types app, the off app, the admin app, and a couple more. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, so which means now we have this our models now already has tables in the database, which means that it's ready to for us to actually start entering that data to for the model, right? So we basically done with this step one, right? And can go to step two. Okay. Okay. Just now I showed you the admin console for Django. So in order to access that, we need to create a user first that can log in and access the admin console. So here we will create the user that can actually log in and access the admin console. So we go to this shell again, can paste the code, and Okay, just continue now. Okay, so this we created the user, and we need to do something here to actually enable the route to the admin shell that we are going to use in this step, right? So here in the urs.py is the file that control the route to our application. The route here means that if you access let's say mywebsite.com, okay, what should be shown. So that's basically call it the index route. So basically we'll call this function. And if user access mywebsite.com/admin, then this is actually what the action that actually we will handle that. So this is meant by routing in Django. Okay, so what we want to have here is here this one, the path to what we call it the admin shell. Okay, I will explain after this what is this admin shell. So let's test this first. Okay, okay, we check the console, it's still running, which means that you can open this in a new tab so that we can edit the URL, right? And then we want to go to /admin/shell. Okay, and then you can log in using the password that we created just now. Okay, we got this web shell that allow us to run any Python code in our project environment. So okay, the reason we're using this is because if you notice in if you are working locally, right, you work locally in your own environment, you don't need that admin shell because you can just use this your local shell, which means that you can actually run command here. Run here, and then you can actually do something okay from here. But the problem is that this console provided by Replit, they have problem with pasting multi-lines code, so it's a little bit cumbersome to use this for our session. So that's the reason we decided not to use this one, but we will use this web shell. So there is a big warning here already in the notes that this web shell is strictly for development only, and it's the reason why here you can see that I'm checking if settings.debug, then I enable the path to this enemy shell. Right, so we will only use this for this development section. Okay, so back to the notes. Here some codes that we can use to test our model. We can just copy this, and then we go to this admin shell, and then can paste the code here. Okay, you can see here there is a 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code, where first we create the survey object, right, and then we add one question to the survey object. So this is a typical flow when you are building Django website. Whenever you create your models, you can quickly test the models in the shell to see whether the relation is correct or you are defining correct field or not. So you can test all the models here even before you start writing the actual code. So we can run this from here. Click this button. Okay, you can see that there's an error. Okay, anyone notice what's really the problem here? Anyone want to try? What the problem that we have now? Okay, so you can see that here. Okay, you can see here that we define the object as survey1, right? And then when we want to add a yeah, okay, no, create a submission. We are referring it to this one, which is the variable basically is does not exist, right? So we need to fix that. You can share up and down arrow key to survey1. Okay, take a while. So we created one question objects, and then we created one submission object. So this is how we manipulate or interact with the models using the shell. And other than this, we can also we go to we can do show some more for the for example, we can query the models and to get the data out. So this, and then it will okay, we can list out the data that we have in the models, right? Okay, so that's the step 2. Then we can go to the next step, which is the step 3. Okay, so I've shown you before how we the Django admin side, and so before we can use that actually, so the admin side is here. We go to /admin, right? We can see that this is how we can actually also interact with the models or manipulate, like list the data that we have or add new data to the model. But we don't see our models here, so that's why in this step 3 we need to actually register first our models to the admin side. So you can copy this and can go to this admin.py file, which is so in this admin.py file we will hold all the customization that we want to apply to the admin side. We can just paste code here, right? You can see here for each of the models, and then we define what we call it the admin class. So we have this survey admin, question admin, and submission admin. Okay, and once we have this, you can see here, and we reload, you can see that our model has been listed here now. So for example, we can go to surveys. Okay, and this the one that we added just now, right? So click this, for example, right? Okay. Okay, and here also we can add new data to the model. So we have an option, so we can either use the text console that we look at just now in previous step to add data, or we can use this admin interface as well to add new data. Okay, so we have, let's say for we add new question here. Okay, for this CTO of Malaysia, then we can save. Then you can go to this again, and then for each question we can add the option. For example, Q, and save this, and for this one, okay, save. Okay, we have two here, so we can delete this one. And that's it. So this is the admin interface that we can do. We can list out data and also add new data. So it's quite helpful actually during development, because it's allow you to see the relationship between each model, and also maybe you can use this also to quickly add some test data that will be useful for in the later step. Okay, so this is step 3, which is to define the admin interface. Then we can go to the step 4. Okay, so since we want to here we want to define some form, right? So we need to also define the the form class that will do to take the user input, right? So this is the forms code. We'll copy this, then we go to file called forms.py. Okay, so it's not created here, so we will add a new file to our project. We can go there, add file. So that name is forms.py, and you can paste this, Control V, right? So this is the form. Then we can, on the step 4A, we can go back to the web console to test this form. Copy this, and go to the admin/shell. Right. So again, we can paste the code here. Then we can run. Okay, some error. So use the control plus the up arrow key. Question 2, key error question 2, question maybe. Okay, let's just try question 1. Okay. No, question 1. Question 1 choice. Okay. Oops. Missing. Can also see all the fields if you want. See what's available. Okay, so this is how we use this web shell to also test our code, right? And this is for the step 4. And once we have this form defined, you can see that the forms also kind of working now, the forms definition. We will start showing these forms on our site, right? So this is what we will do in the step 5. Okay, so okay, we need to add this code, which is this is called views in Django. In Ruby on Rails, for example, this basically will be your controller code. So this is the code that will handle the incoming request, and then it will return the response object to the web server. So we just can just copy this, and we go to the views.py. Here we already have this, right? Can just remove the existing code, then Control V to paste. Good. So this is the exit views. You can see that we import from LaLoka.forms, import survey forms, and then we will pass, we instantiate the form object, pass the survey object to it, and then we render this HTML templates. Yeah. Okay, and then in the template itself, okay, so before we can go to template, we also need to add another URL root to the function that we created just now. So we can copy this. I can go to, we go to this urls.py. We add the new root here. Control V. And we also import the functions here. So okay, this is one thing that might be different in Django compared to other framework such as Rails, because in Django there is no auto loading of the function or object. So every time you need to use or access certain object or certain function, then you have to explicitly import the function or the object. So in case here we define this function called show survey here in views.py, and then in the urls.py, in the routing definition, we have to import the function that we have created in views.py. And then here we define a new URL path, which means that if user access something like our website.com/survey/2, for the ID, and that request will be passed to this show_survey function. So that's how routing works in Django. Then once we define that, then we need to write the template. So you can see here in views.py here, okay, we pass it's called a render function that will render the templates called lewagon/survey.html, and the templates is in this directory called templates/lewagon. You can see here there is no survey.html file, so we need to add that. So we add new file, call it survey.html, and then we paste the code. So it's a very basic template. It extends the base template. Okay, we're not going to look much into base template for now. Right. So the template language, it has some certain directive. So for example, the block content, this will override whatever block content defined in base.html. right? Just define the header and then we render the forms. Okay, so this all that we need to actually show our form on the page. Then we can go to here /survey and then the survey ID. Okay, so you can see the survey and then the wait, this is the wrong should be here, sorry. Okay, you're right. So I think let me close this one, the one that already, this one already. Okay, yep. Okay, survey/1. Okay, maybe the second one /2. Okay, this is the correct one that we created in the admin console. Okay, so we have our form now, right? Okay, but you can see that there is no way to actually submit the form yet. So which is what we are going to do in the step 6. So in step 6 is where we going to process the data submitted through the forms. So you can see here there is our code be a bit much a little bit longer now because we also add the logic to actually validate the form data, right, and save the data, right. And here we also will have at the logic to actually save the data, the form. Okay, we'll do this first. So we add this new views code. So we go back to our views.py. Right. So same as before, we delete everything, right? Then just paste the new code, and this is for the views. Okay, and then the template should be updated also as well. So basically, the difference is just that we add this. Okay, so the difference. So the difference just we added this the action, the form action, right? So basically submitted to the views, to the views function, right? And then we also add this submit button. Okay. And finally, we also need to add the logic to the form itself that will actually process the users submitted data. Copy this and go to the forms.py and we can remove this one. So okay, it's a bit longer now. So you might notice that the forms and the models look similar, which is correct. The difference is that these forms is just to validate the data. So we define what kind of type of data we want to accept. For example, here we want the email type data, and here it's just a text within certain choices. Okay, and this is a bit tricky because our forms, because the way that we model our forms is that, for example, each question they have one or more choices, right? Which means that we can't hard code the field for the question and then choices here. So that's why we have to do some to add the form field dynamically. So for example, in here, we look through the question in the survey, and then for each question, we create a new field for the choices. So this is how we build the forms dynamically in Django. And then this save function, we just create a new submission object to then save what's actually the user input through the form. Okay, so we have this. Okay, and so which means that we can try again. We can reload this. Right. Okay, now we have a complete form, which means that we can actually enter the data here. Then we can pick option, try to submit, and which means that it's been saved. Try to hook. Okay. Right, save. Then we can try to check through the admin whether we have the data or not. Go to submissions. Then you can see we have these new submissions, and we can also see that the email status is not verified yet. Right. So that's what we are going to do in the final step, which is the step 6, the step 7. Okay, so we are now going to verify the email address using the get OTP API. So we can see our views function has grow a bit longer now. We have this two new function added now. Okay, let's copy this first. Go to use.py. Okay, can remove save. Okay, it's a bit longer now. Okay, so it's a bit okay. Okay, the views itself, the logic doesn't change much. Here, the addition here is that after we save the form submissions, we will make an API request to otp.dev to actually verify the email address, right? So, and then this is the function where we make the API request, and step the 7a. So we also need to add. So here you can see the additional function here called OTP callback. So once the email address being verified by otp.dev, it will send a request back to us to inform us about the status of the verification, and we have to handle that request through this called webhook URL. So we define it here. So we need to make this available as part of the URL routing as well. So that's why we need to add this to our urls.py. Okay, notice one thing. So I put some random number here, so to make sure that this URL is cannot be accessed by anyone that just randomly guessing this URL path. So in practice, in the real application, this should be put. You should use much longer random characters here, or better use the like something like basic HTTP basic authentication to secure your webhook endpoint. But for now, we just use a random characters like this one. Okay, and then okay, the final step. Okay, this is a bit tricky because in order to access the OTP.dev API, we need the API keys first. So fortunately, Replit provide a proper way for us to store the API keys or anything data that considered as sensitive data, right? So they have what they call it here, this secret or environment variables function here. So we can go here. Right, so we can define this here, and then it will be available as environment variables in our project. Okay, so we need. Okay, so we go to the views.py first. Okay, notice that. So we need this value. Okay, okay, sorry, settings.py. I need to add this to settings.py first. Okay, so we copy this. Settings.py. Paste it here. Okay, so we need this value, right? Copy this, and you can go to this. Oh, sorry, to the secrets. Paste this, and we can put the value here. So we need to go to here. This okay, the API keys for OTP.dev, and we will copy this API keys, and you can put the value here, save, and then also for the API token here, copy this one, and add this as new key, and go here, copy, and we paste it here. So now we have these two value, and it should be available to our code. And we can go back to our file. This is views.py. Now we have the API keys, and okay, we have the API keys. Should be able to test now, right? Okay, we group this one. Okay, got one error here. CSF that it's not defined. So as I mentioned before, in Django, every time we want to use something, a function, that we have to import it. So csrf underscore exam here. So we are using this in here, right? Right, we are using this, but we are not importing it anywhere. So which means that it's not available to this module scope. So try to check srf. Yeah. So it's coming from here. Go to views.decorator, and you can edit here from import csrf accept. can try again. Okay, because we also forgot to import it in the rs.py here. So we need to add this. Try again. Okay. Okay. So got this, then we can try to submit again. Submit. Okay, got another error. Okay, so this is one also useful tools for Django development. So this is basically an interactive console actually that we can actually type code directly here to actually inspect what actually the data at this point. So we can click here. Okay, because this is I call it dangerous if anyone can access this. So firstly, we need to make sure that we don't use this for production. This is used for development only. And even in development, the security precaution is that you need to enter the PIN first before you can access this this web debugger session. So go back here, you can see here in the console tab. See here the PIN number shown here. You can copy this and you can put it here, confirm the PIN. Okay, we set, then we can have this you can see that console ready here. We can inspect what actually the, for example, what we want to look into this data variable, what's the content. Okay, you said that authentication credential were not provided, so we already specify this. So okay, we need to access here, right? And we already specified it in settings.py here. And it's getting this from the environment variable, right? Which we added here. So should already be there, right? Okay. So the reason why Django is not getting that yet is because we need to restart the server before we can actually get this one that we just added, right? So we run again. Okay, and we try to submit again. Okay, submit. Okay, there's still an error. Check again what is in the, what's wrong now. Okay, so it said that URL doesn't match API user domain here. So you can go back to our API settings here. Okay, so it means that the domain here is listed as debugging workshop -2, while our URL here is debugging workshop -4. So we need to update the API settings a bit. So go to here. Sorry. It is. Okay. Need to change this. And submit. Okay. Okay, you can see here that you can actually inspect the data in each of the step of the function call. So here actually adds You can see here it is at line, maybe I can increase a bit. Okay, so here we can inspect what actually the data at line 54 in views.py. We can also go to line 29 to see what is the data here. So we can see, for example, we can check data email. Okay, that is correct. And what is the OTP redirect? Okay, that should be correct. And we can also click here if you want to see the source code around this. Right, you can. Okay, so we click this, then we can actually see the source code where on each step that we want to debug here. So which is also very helpful during debugging. Okay. Anyway, back to this error. So we already fixed the setting, so it should work now. This, I try to submit again. Okay. Now you can see that we have been redirected to OTP site, which you can see that in the code here. We go back to our views.py. So we can see that here we call the send OTP function, which will make requests to the OTP API, and it will return a URL that we can redirect user to verify the email address. So here we got the URL, then we return the redirect response here, and that's why we being redirected here. So we can enter the OTP value, and so I got it as 837448. Verify. Okay. So the application is successful, then it will redirect back to our form. You can see that it's been saved, and we can check through the admin console, submissions. You see here that we have one email that is status verify, which is the latest one that we added just now. Yep. So that's it. We finish all the 7 steps to build the forms, and then also call the OTP API to verify the email address. Okay. So that's all. And in case anyone want to get more explanation on each part of the code, then can ask either through the chat, or can actually just ask directly. So okay, this okay, there's a number of questions through the chat.
Well, thank you so much, Kamal. Thank you so much for the workshop. Yeah, right now it's time for questions. So I encourage people, if they have any question about today's workshop content, feel free to ask them in the chat. Meanwhile, maybe Kamal, you actually skipped this part a bit in the beginning. Maybe you could introduce yourself a bit. I mean, about yourself, what you're doing about LaLoka Labs, what you guys are doing about your projects as well. It's like kind of, you went straight into the workshop, so we're really cool to know about you. Maybe if there is a way to, get connected to you, maybe some people would like to, know you more, like maybe follow you up, maybe follow the local labs updates.
Okay. Sorry for that. Maybe I forgot for the introduction. So, my name is Kamal Mustafa from LaLoka Labs, and so at LaLoka Labs we are fully remote development team, and right now we are working in this services called OTP, which is used to implement the one-time one-time password verification through either SMS, phone calls, or emails. Yeah. And we are mostly working with our tech stack is mostly in Python and Django. Right, that's our preferred choices, platform of choice. And yeah, I think that's it for the introductions.
Oh, thank you. I think that probably some of your team members shared links to today's repo. And did you also share? Oh, yeah. So you also there was also a link to the OTP shared in the chat. So if any of the attendees are interested to explore more, feel free to click on the link. Maybe I'll just post it one more time.
Yep. So yeah, there's the link to the workshop contains the notes. You can get the full notes there, all the steps. Where if you want to try again after this, you can follow the step by step. Either you can do it through Replit, or if you want to set up your own environment, you can also go through Django project here. Okay. So this is the official Django documentation, where so you can also, there's also a guide on how to start from installing Python, how to install Django, right? How to prepare your local environments. But for starter, I recommend you to just use the Replit environment if you want to go straight into coding instead of spending time to set up the environment. Then once you are comfortable with the Django code, then you can go back to trying to set up your local environment. So I think that's a much better flow instead of trying to set up the environment, because sometimes if you just spending the whole days, for example, just to set up environment is demotivate you because you can't get to the actual coding. So much better to get into the actual coding first, and then you step back and then try to set up the environment. Mm. Mhm.
Cool. Thank you. So I'm also interested, the people who attended today's workshop, did you guys manage to finish the project? Like sometimes we have
Yeah.
people the following up, and sometimes we have people who just like watch and digest maybe afterwards. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, yeah.
If you want to share your Replit also, feel free. You can go through the code and see maybe how to finish or where you got wrong. For example, you can also do that
Hmm.
if you want to share your Replit.
Cool. Is there a way to share the Replit maybe like afterwards somewhere? Do you guys have like I don't know, like email or something that it's possible to contact you?
Yes, yes. So feel free to go here to the how do you, this 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 Zoom is covering. Okay, I need to close this first. Okay, so yeah, feel free to go to this the GitHub repo that we created for the nodes. Just go to the issues here, and then you just submit new issues here. Then you can respond to you through these issues. Yep.
Cool. Thank you. So I would also like to add, so if some of you join later or some of you would like to watch this workshop again, feel free to send me a message after that. I would share a link to the recording because I know there are many people that sometimes need to watch it again in order to do it. So it's completely fine. Just let us know, let me know. And maybe Kamal, if there is a way to contact you, I mean, if you have a LinkedIn or it's like a working profile that you would like to share, if people I don't know, maybe would like to connect with you afterwards and network, or maybe know more about what you're doing, that would be really cool.
Yeah. So my personal GitHub is this one. Right? So you can also reach me through this, and there's also other links there. So I also sometimes also active here in dev.to community. Okay, you can also reach me here, and also sometimes I write some blog posts here. And then yeah, I guess so. I think this is the my preferred channel if you want to reach me out. So either through GitHub or through this dev.to website. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. I also would like to shout out to your team in the chat. So I think that we had a lot of helpers today. Thank you
Yep.
so much for all the local labs team
Yeah.
members who attended today and who helped us a lot. Yeah, so probably with that, looks like everything is clear. Would like to say one more time, thank you to Kamal. Thank you. It was a
Thank
really good
you, Asha
presentation.
and
Thank
Wagon.
you. Thank you. For everyone from the local labs, it was great to have you guys. Also, as I mentioned, I'm recording it, so we'll be able to share with you if you would like to use this video recording for you afterwards. Feel free to do that. And yeah, looking forward to having a lot of people testing your service, discovering more the value of it, spreading the word about your service in the dev community. Good luck with the project.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so would like to say good night, good evening for those based in Japan's time zone. By the way, Kamal, are you based in Japan right now? Are you in Malaysia?
No, I am in Johor Bahru, Malaysia.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I really envy you. We had a temperature drop today. It was very cold in Tokyo. So I wish
Yeah.
I could be in Malaysia right now.
Yeah. It's good weather here.
Yeah, looking good in a t-shirt. Nice. Cool. Yeah, so good evening anyway. I know that you're in a kind of like very similar time zone. For those of you joining us from a different time zones, good evening or maybe good morning. It was nice to have you all, and looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you and
Okay.
bye.
Bye.